you're remorseful for having done this, but the police reports from the limited amount that I have been able to find, it just says that you had a paint stick, a little flat paint stick, and you hit the kids with that.
Yes, sir.
Tell me tell fill me in more, because it could be just a little tap with it, or it could be hitting them with. I mean,
I was just, tapping them. I wasn't hitting them hard.
Well, you're going to find out soon if that's just an authentic cry or maybe an act, but she was in charge with watching over our most precious. And we're talking about infants 3 months, 6 months, 7 months old. She was sentenced to 9 years, up for parole after just a few. Will they uncover her lies, or will they give her parole? With that, let's jump in.
Okay.
Yes,
All right, Mr. Lauder, you are a first felony offender who was sentenced to 9 years for the offense of cruelty to a juvenile, 3 count.
yes, sir.
You got 3, 3, and 3 to run consecutive.
Yes, sir.
You have a parole date of 12/3/24, a good time date of 10/27/25, and a full term date of 9/3/31. Does that sound correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Lauder, for the record, tell us what got you in there, why you serving time, what you did, and why do you think we should release you today?
Yes, sir. Well, I started back working at a daycare, and I was working there. I did love my job, but I also did the wrong thing by putting my hands trying to discipline other people's kids when it was wrong. I popped one child on the rear end, on their butt. I popped one on the leg. And I'm not proud of that at all.
Okay. And why do you think we should let you out today, Mr. Lauder?
Because I finally was able to hold myself accountable for my actions, after I sit there and put myself in the shoes of those parents. Because at first, I wasn't understanding, but because I have my own children, and so once I put, the other shoe on the foot, then I understood completely. And I've learned a lot out of this, and would I go back and change it? Yes, I would. I definitely would. And I do sincerely apologize. And I know I can't take it back.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Lauder, your case has been assigned to me, so I'll be leading the questioning today.
Yes,
How old are you?
36.
Okay, and how long have you served on this charge? How long you been in jail?
Exactly 2 years as of September the 7th.
2 years. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. And you were working at Noah Ark Daycare, and that's where this happened?
Yes, sir.
Were there any other incidents that wasn't reported?
No, sir, not that I know of.
Okay. Well, did you hit any of the other kids?
No, sir.
Okay, just these 3. And you were trying to discipline them, you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You said you have 3 kids of your own. Do you still have contact with those children?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I need to note for the record that the sheriff, the DA, and the sentencing judge are all opposed. Mr. Roderick Brown, your husband, is unopposed. Where is your husband today?
He's in St. Francis Medical Center.
Okay, he has a medical issue,
Yes, sir.
so that's why he's not here today.
Yes, sir.
What kind of classes have you taken?
I actually have not had the opportunity to take any classes. But I had done 2 courses online. One is anger management and one for the parenting. I wasn't aware they had those until last month, and they said if our job allowed us that we could do the courses, and I have done 1 course of each.
Okay. I see you have lots of support letters.
Yes, sir.
During work release, how much have you saved?
I think my account last time I looked was at almost $1,400.
Okay, where do they have you working at?
I actually work at Sonic, and I actually just got a second job 5 days ago, working at Quality Inn.
Okay,
And I plan to keep both. I have been allowed to ask to keep both of those upon release.
have you been sending any money home, or it's been mainly for your?
I sent 200 home to help with the school. I was needed to ask to help with school, so I helped with I sent $200 out of my account. We were having problems with that because we don't have my children's birth certificates, and I have to have that here to send money home. But she allowed me the first time to do it.
Okay, who has your kids now?
Their dad has them, but their uncle is watching over them because their dad has been in the hospital for the past week due to his medical issues.
Okay. I have no further questions. Do either of my colleagues have any questions?
I do.
Okay, Ms. Renata?
Good morning, Ms. Delata.
Good morning.
I'm glad to hear you're had the opportunity for work release, and it seems as though you're doing well there.
Yes, ma'am.
So how long had you worked at Noah's Ark?
On and off, maybe 6 months.
What type of training did you receive when you went to work there?
None.
What was your job title? Did you have a job title?
A caregiver. Or
what is it that you actually, what were you responsible for?
you're responsible for doing reading to the kids, feeding breakfast and lunch. You would interact with the kids all day, take them outside, potty training if they were, of age to potty train.
How many kids normally were at that center in a day?
That I don't have a correct answer to.
20 or more or less?
In one room,
In the whole place?
20, probably more than 20.
Okay. And so were you assigned certain children to be responsible for in your room?
Yes, ma'am.
I see. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry I missed it. How old are your own children?
My son will be 14 in November, and I have 2 girls that are 15 and 16.
And they're all, well, right now with the uncle, I guess.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. And what is your level of education?
I do have my GED. I don't have a high school diploma, but I do have my GED.
Did you get that before you came to jail?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you mentioned your work release job. Is that in Tallulah? Where is that at?
West Monroe.
Okay. And you're gonna and your home, your residence is near Vidalia?
No, ma'am, I'm gonna be residing in West Monroe.
Is that where your husband lives?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Prater?
I'm just trying to figure out what you're remorseful for having done this, but the police reports from the limited amount that I have been able to find, it just says that you had a paint stick, a little flat paint stick, and you hit the kids with that.
Yes, sir.
Tell me fill me in more, because it could be just a little tap with it, or it could be hitting them with, I mean,
I was just, tapping them. I wasn't hitting them hard. I'm sorry.
that's okay. I understand this is a big day for you, and been a big couple years for you.
Yes, sir.
Was it leaving the mark?
No, sir. I've never left a mark on any of them.
Okay. I don't have any questions. That's all I.
Okay, I'm gonna move for an executive session. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Call roll, please.
Sharon Malcolm,
Yes.
Steve Freeman,
Yes.
Steve Prater.
Yes.
Slaughter, to discuss confidential matters. We'll be back with you in a second.
Yes, sir.
So let's just go through this in real time while they're on the executive session. And what it is that they don't seem to have any information on this case. But what I can share with you, and I'll give you a sneak peek, here's the spreadsheet that Sir Richard puts together, just one of the spreadsheets. Actually, look at this. He's on right now. You can see his little emoji. He's working on it right now in real time. I think that's his little, let's see if he sees me. This is real time. Hello, Sir Richard. Now, here's the case. Pink is the color for woman counts. This is the date, right? And here it is. There's article after article after article. There's even an appeal. So we can go over details of this case because there's court records. You can see all the notes Richard drops in here. So in one instant, I'm able to pull up information of this case. You know what's interesting? I just got an email while I'm doing this from Anna Shea. Thank you for sending the email saying, I Googled it and I just pulled up these records. So we assume that while they're on this executive session, that they're doing the same thing, right? Because the information that I'm looking at, even just the link Anna Shea sent that Richard has here, basically a parent, they got news that a child was hurt by a parent. Basically, not a parent, by one of these. There's 3 workers. One of the workers hurt a child where it left a mark. So the owner of the daycare panicked, told the parent. The parent did the right thing and called the police. The sheriff, went into the daycare and got the CCTV footage that they have for their own security. They go through the footage, which was only 2 weeks worth of footage because it automatically deletes previous footage. And they found over 80 counts of abuse. This includes seeing them grabbing these children by the hair and pulling them, picking them up and slamming them down. I mean, it goes on and on and on, but listen to this. The ages of these babies were a year old or younger. She's doing this to infants. and it's on camera. There's a reason why they have these long sentences. You don't get a 12-year sentence for harming a child in Louisiana unless it's really bad. So, here's the three. Can you imagine? It goes into the psychology of how this can even happen. And I hope that that's what the parole board is doing now. They're trying to find information. Maybe they're, I don't know what records they're looking at. But I hope that they're going to pull what we have, what really anyone has, with just a Google search, and find out that what she did is much more than what she's saying she did. I don't buy the crying. It's for herself, if anything, if it's even real. There's something in here that one of the parents said that oh my gosh, I can relate to. She says, were it up to me, I would line up the defendants with shorts and sleeves on and give every parent in here a paint stick. Let the parents hit her with an open hand, Johnson said, with similar wishes for the other woman charged in the case. Sometimes I feel that kind of justice is justice. Can you imagine, how can you not feel any safer? To leave your child with 3 women in a daycare with all of these babies, you could feel there's no way 3 women are going to collude with each other to be evil. But that's exactly what happened in this case. And then a judge gave finally a sentence that, is a legitimate sentence. And I know that, you can argue you get more, but what, this is, I'm in real time. I'm not forwarding right now. So I don't know. You would just hope, you would just think that what they're doing is their homework. She brought her children, by the way, to testify in court on her mother's behalf, who were 14, 13, 12 at the time. The children all said that they missed their mom, and 3 months without them while they had been in jail had been hard. She embraced her children and sobbed in the courtroom. One of her children said, "She is my best friend. She is my backbone." Johnson says she never heard Richardson say she was sorry for what she did. This is she never even said sorry. I'm sorry, Richardson said. Now there's below that. I'm sorry, Richardson said. I thought when I was here 3 months ago, I did apologize, but I didn't. I'm doing it now. Wow, the judge told her she never apologized. I'm not asking not to be punished. I will do anything. I will move to another parish. I will do community service. I will go under house arrest. My kids need me as much as these parents need them. Oh, yeah, great one. I've had time to think, and I'm sorry. If that means anything at all, I am deeply sorry. It's not just these families that were ruined. Mine was also. It's like the classic statements you see so often. Johnson said, I don't normally do this in regard to increasing Richardson's sentence. She added she was not aware of Shuff's case before Richardson was sentenced, and that made a difference. Johnson allowed the defendant's son to visit with the children. So she was so unimpressed. The judge was so unimpressed. She increased the sentence 3 years longer than what it initially. 2 years were added at sentencing. Wow. Yeah. Let's see.
We're going to be back in session. The time is 11:41. Would you call the roll, please?
Sharon Malcolm,
Yes.
Keith Green,
Yes.
Steve Furby.
Okay, Mr. Lauder, it's time to vote now, and I will be voting first because I was the one who signed your case.
Yes, sir.
I hear your remorse, Mr. Lauder, and I think you are very remorseful.
Yes, sir.
We wasn't given a ton of information to go on, besides they were hit with the little paint stick.
Yes, sir.
And it's tough. We have no comments from the victims. So my vote today is going to be, you're a first felon offender. My vote today is going to be to grant. But, well, listen, I'm just one vote now. My vote is to grant with the special condition that you go to Monroe Day Reporting Center and you take a parenting class in person. I don't want it online. I want it in person.
Yes,
And if
sir.
they have anger management, I would suggest you take that too.
Yes, sir.
It's a very helpful class.
They were help. They were the ones online. They helped me a lot as well.
All right. So that's my vote today. I vote to grant with those two special conditions, no contact with the victims whatsoever.
Yes,
I
sir.
don't want you going back to Vidalia either.
No, sir.
You understand? Stay out of.
Yes, sir.
All right. That's my vote. Ms. Renatza?
Mr. Lauder, I can hear in your voice that you are remorseful for what happened. And as Mr. Freeman said, it's what we have to go on. My vote, and you've been doing very well in work release, and I'm glad that you're going to have that opportunity to keep at least one of those jobs. My vote today also is to grant. You have a low risk score with the same special conditions Mr. Freeman outlined for you. Good luck.
Mr. Prater?
I've got of course, anytime you talk about child abuse and all, everyone's nostrils flare, and everyone is nobody wants anything to do with that.
Yes, sir. I
Everybody
understand.
says it's wrong. In this case, we've been given, I think, limited information about what occurred. Most of the information I have has come from you, as a matter of fact,
Yes, sir.
in the way that you describe it. I know that you are a low risk on all of the testing that they've done. I know that you've agreed not to have any contact or even be in the parish with the parents or the kids over there. We've had no victim input whatsoever. None of the parents have called and wanted to appear at the hearing or even write us letters, which they had an opportunity to. We've got quite a few letters of support of your co-workers where you work at the Sonic and the other places. You're a first felony offender, never been in trouble before in your life. I think you're truly remorseful. And although I have, to be honest with you, Bridget, I've looked for a reason not to support you, okay, because of the fact that, but I can't see, you're going to be out in less than a year anyway. And I think that, and we can't control that. You're going to be out. Your good time's going to allow you to be out by the state of Louisiana laws. And so, having said all of those things, my vote is to grant you parole.
Okay, been granted today with the special conditions. Now you've been given an opportunity. So calm down and make sure you follow all those recommendations. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the parole has been granted by a vote of 3-0. We will be concluding at Ouachita Parish. Thank you, Ouachita.
Thanks, sir.
Well, if you needed anything to change your mind, it probably was that hyena cackle that then turned into like an evil laugh. Like, I fold them. That was scary. We have seen thousands of parole hearings, and I don't think we have ever seen someone put on that kind of remark for getting released maybe 9 months early. And I think the biggest takeaway from here, I'm going to make a prediction. The prediction that I'm going to make is that there is going to be some type of media outcry. It's going to be in the news, and her parole might even be rescinded. We have seen it happen. There is some loose language in there that allows it. I do not believe that Louisiana did the job it's supposed to, reaching out to the victims in this case. There is no chance. It was just 2 years ago that one of the parents said the right punishment is for us to have the rulers on these children. There were 10 parents made statements at court that just took place 2 years ago. When she came in front of the judge to ask for a reduction in sentence, the judge instead increased it from 7 to 9 years. I'll show you, I'll read through the article properly for you. But what we just saw, and I've been loving the way that this board has been working together. It's been magic. I've been impressed. They said it. The sheriff said it. They all said it. There's nothing here. We have to rely on what you're saying. They went into a long executive session. I know it might not have felt that long. I usually skip them over. It's long. We have seen lifetime commutations have shorter, much shorter executive sessions. But for whatever reason, maybe they're not allowed to, maybe it's not in their practice, they didn't do a single Google search. All it took was a Google search. There's article after article after article. You know, I had it right there in the spreadsheet from Sir Richard. We had Anna Shea email him and say, what is going on here? She lied. She was dishonest. But not only that, you have certain things when a judge when you get a long sentence, when a judge increases the sentence, when they had, this was a big story. I mean, you know, I don't see any news but this is, I predict she's going to get it. They're going to change it. We'll keep an eye on this case. But for now, outside of my prediction, let's just read this again. Look at this. 2 years added to former daycare owner sentenced in child cruelty case. December 7, 2022. So a former daycare owner requests for Judge Kathy Johnson to reconsider her sentence for child cruelty backfired when the judge gave her 2 more years. I mean, how? That's like classic. You go in there and say, can you please reduce my sentence? No, I'm actually going to add 2 years. Richardson's formerly owned Noah's Ark Christian Child Daycare, which was shut down by the Louisiana police October 2021 amid child cruelty investigation. They seized video footage of the employees slapping, dragging, and hitting children with wooden paint sticks. Remember, these children are 1 year old. Children, babies. The investigation has given LSP due to conflict of interest. Concordia Parish Sheriff Davey Hedrick said his son was one of the children of the daycare. Can you imagine the sheriff's son? So they had to change. They changed locations because of that. His investigators observed more than 80 incidences of violence on a surveillance system that would only record up to 2 weeks of footage. 80 in 2 weeks. Richardson and 3 of her employees were arrested in June. All of them pled guilty to child cruelty. Richardson pled guilty to 3 counts of child cruelty to juvenile, and her sentence was increased to 3 years for each count. You just can't make this up. This was, I mean, why wouldn't they do a Google search? Hopefully this brings change. This is the kind of stuff. Let's see if this is something that actually has some type of impact on how they handle these parole hearings. We shouldn't, as a YouTuber or anyone on a cell phone, have more access to information to a case than the parole board. And I do believe there's no way that you didn't have the sheriff who's had a child in this daycare not show up to this. There was a mistake. How do you not have an ADA? When a judge, when you get sentences this long, when it's that fresh in people's mind, there is no chance that they just all colluded with each other not to show up and protest this. And this is why it's so important for an ADA to show up. But I actually might believe that the ADA also wasn't told. There was a mistake done on contacting the victims. I will stake my reputation on it, as a man do. You can call me a sheeple for the rest. I'll change the channel name to Sheeple if I am wrong on this. There's just no chance. The odds are zero that not a single parent of any of these babies, not a single that no one would object to it. Please. But Taylor Rodota, who is 23 weeks pregnant, okay. On Wednesday, the defense attorney argued to Johnson that there had been prior child cruelty case at the same daycare that involved an employee who received only 6 months probation. When your defense attorney has to come in and say, well, there was a prior problem. Wow. If that's not a red flag, what the hell is going on here? These are little babies. This isn't like a violent boot camp. You had a prior incident? Colbert said the sentence seemed a little excessive. And Schuff, receiving probation instead of prison sentence, he acknowledged that blah, 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 also had medical conditions, put her in an unborn child at risk. On July 2020, Schuff was arrested on the felony charge of cruelty to a juvenile. January 13, 2021, she was allowed to plead to a misdemeanor charge, civil battery, which a parent of the abused child requested at the time, said the district attorney. That was well before the surveillance video footage of multiple children being abused by multiple employees came to light. Bridget argued that in hindsight, the prior incident in 2020 put more weight. Exactly. They're like, actually, now what you're saying, it means this has been going on for years. Bunch of monsters. It's like having, they're like, it's like, I'm at a loss of words. It was a pattern, he said. It was a system. Has responsibility to each and trainer employee. She puts all this in motion. It's unreal. Richardson embraced her children. That's what I read before. And there are article after article after article. But there you have it. The reason I'm letting you go now is that I'm doing a live stream with Alex Rosen on Mandu Channel 2. We're going to stream together. We're going to talk about catching. We're going to talk about parole. We'll probably watch one of those catches and parole hearings of these roaches. And so head on over. I do have a second channel. If you're not familiar, I'll put a link in the description. I'll pin it in the comment section. You can come by if you're not seeing it live and check out Alex Rosen, a PP catcher. We'll talk about fried pickles and turtles and whatnot. But again, this case is absolutely insane. And we'll keep tabs on this case if there are any news that comes up on it, because I believe that there's going to be some type of outcry for her getting released early, and maybe, just maybe, there'll be a little bit more justice to this case. And with that, I'll let you go.
I have, to be honest with you, Bridget, I've looked for a reason not to support you. Okay, because of the fact that, but I can't see, you're going to be out in less than a year anyway. And I think that, and we can't control that. You're going to be out. Your good time's going to allow you to be out by the state of Louisiana laws. And so, having said all of those things, my vote is to grant you parole.
Okay, been granted today with the special conditions. Now you've been given an opportunity. So calm down and make sure you follow all those recommendations. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the parole has been granted by a vote of 3-0. We'll be concluding at Ouachita Parish. Thank you, Ouachita.
Thanks, sir.